Hey everyone, Steve here from Craps for Everyone. Today we're talking about tipping the dealers. This is hugely important. Y'all, you need to take care of your dealers, all right? Taking care of the dealers is a very simple, easy thing to do, and it gets them into the game. There's some advantages. It gets them into the game. They're cheering for you a little bit more. They'll help you out on some things. If you are betting a normal way, which I always suggest you bet the same way, the dealers are going to know how you like to bet, and they will help you if you forget to do something, or they'll make suggestions for you. Uh, highly, 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 highly recommend that you uh, take care of them, get them on your side. Now, there are a number of ways to do it. And let me just say one thing about this real quickly. You go to a restaurant and you'll have a waitress bring you a hamburger and, a Coke and some fries, and you tip her 10 to 15 you tip her what, 15, 20% of whatever your bill is. So you go, you have a $30 meal, you're tipping her $6, and she barely did anything. She brought you your food. That's it. Now, I tip a lot. I tip at least 20% when I go out. But my point is, when you're at the craps table, what are you tipping? You think about, they're doing something every minute that you're there. Every hand they're doing something with you. They're helping you out. They're busy. You should tip them accordingly. You're tipping waiters and waitresses a lot more than you're tipping these guys. You're tipping the pizza delivery driver more than you're tipping the dealers. I'll see a person that'll play for 5 or 6 hours, and at the table, and will leave like a $12 tip. Divided between four dealers, that's ridiculous. But anyway, I digress. But there are some fun ways that you can bet. You can tip for the dealers that get them into the game and make it more fun for them. One of the easiest ones, I see a lot of people will do this one, is they'll do a pass line bet. So let me see, I've got my $25 pass line right there. I want the dealers to be with me. I can put $5 right beside. So now if I put it beside, then that shows it's the dealer's bet. If I put it on top, it's my bet. All right. So I put it beside. Now, if I went on the pass line, they went on the pass line. Nice and simple. Another thing that I can do is behind the line. So if I have the $25 there, and we get the point, I put my money behind. I can put $1 on the pass line for them, and then I can put the money behind for them. All right, so now they have $1 pass line bet and a $5 behind the line bet. So another way, nice for them to do it. Now, another one I see a lot is on the hard ways. Someone will say, hey, you know what, dealers, you get $1 on each of the hards. It doesn't matter what the beautiful thing about betting with the dealers is the table minimum doesn't matter. So if the table, normally you have to put a minimum of $5 down on the pass line, or $25 on the pass line. You can put $1 down for them. It doesn't matter. They don't have any sort of limitations. So even if it's even if you have to put $5 down in the hard, you can put $1 down for them, and say player control. That's one thing that's cool. Say player control, because if you don't say player control, let's say that the hard 10 hits. Okay, they're going to cut themselves. That pays 8 for 1. So they're going to cut $7 of profit. They're going to take their total $8, and they have to bring it down. If you say player control, however, and they have their dollar there, you can say, hey, make it look like $5. And so now they'll cut their $7, they'll leave 5 behind, and they'll book their $3. But now they still have $5 there. So if you hit it again, now they're going to make $35 more dollars. All right, so it's a way to kind of keep it going for them. Hard ways is a very nice thing. Personally, what I do on the hard ways, I do not put money up on the 6 and 8 for them. I will throw down. Oh, that's a runaway. I will throw down $10, and I'll say, hey, $10, hard 4, hard 10, player control for the dealers. And so now what that's going to do for them is it means they're going to get, if the 4 or 10 hit, they're going to get $35. I will then pop it up to a $25 bet. And if they hit again, they get $175. That's pretty darn cool. All right, another thing you can do for them, and this is another one that's common, is on the place bets. All right, on the place bets. Ooh, right there, the place bets. So what you would do for them is you can do a number of things. I see some people who will say, hey, take $6 across, and what they'll do is they're going to put their money right there. That's the dealer's bet is on that section on those lines. All right, and so now if anything hits, they just get 1 for 1 on their money. So they're not going to get multiples. So $1 on the 4 is not going to pay them $3. They get $1 for it. All right, until they get up to I want to say it's the $5 mark, but it may be $3. I don't remember where the switch over where they start getting the actual odds, but they don't get the odds from the get-go when it's only $1 bet. But anyway, so that's one way to do it. And you again say player control, because if you don't say player control, the money's got to come down. You can say player control, but you guys figure out what you want to do, and then they'll start managing how they want to bet it themselves. No problem there. What I like to do on the place bets is I like to say, hey, get $6 on the 6 and 8 player control. So I do $12, but now they have a legitimate bet. So if we hit the 6 or 8, they get paid $7, and we go from there. So then I'll say, well, we hit the one of them, and I'll say, all right, well, take that $7 and put 5 on the 9 and 2 on the 5, and then we hit one of those numbers. I make the 5 legit, and we play. They end up with 22 inside. Or, depending on the table and depending on how I'm doing, I might just flat out say at the beginning, hey, go 22 inside. And now they're playing right there with me, all right? So that's another good way to do it. Now, what I'll do often, a lot of times, is if somebody else has gone through and said, hey, put yourself down $1 on each of those, then I'll just make them legit. And I say, okay, well, give $4 more onto the 9 and the 5. That's $8 plus 5 more on these. And so at the end of the day, somebody else has put in, $4. I put in $18, and now they've got 22 inside. And so now they're making, hopefully making some good money. Another one that people do, I don't do this, but they'll throw $5 in the field almost every hand for the dealers. They'll throw $5 in the field almost every hand for the dealers. So every hand, the dealers have a shot at winning some immediate money. I'm not a fan of the field, so I'm not a fan of that bet. But it is something you can do. And again, it's getting the dealers involved. I personally would much rather put that $5 up on a place bet and let them go that way. But hey, who am I? Now, you also have the bonus bets. So we don't have bonus bets that you can see on the screen, but these are the all tall small, the fire bet, and the repeater bet. Put money up for them on that. Those are low bet cost for you, but high potential return for the dealer, for the table. Because if I do $1, let's say on the all tall small, which watch the video on that one, I do $1 on the all tall small, and the all tall small hits. That $, so I bet $3 is going to pay over $200 to the table. That's pretty cool. If I put $1 on each of the repeaters, they have a chance of making some really good money. If even one of them, the lowest one hits, it's going to be a $40 win. If the 2 or the 12 hit, it's a $40 win. On the fire bet, $1 on the fire bet could result in $1,000 win for the table, depending on how much the table is paying for the fire bets. And watch the fire bet video, and you'll get what I'm talking about there. Horn bets, another one that's good. Horn bets, you just throw $4 down and you say, hey, you got a horn bet. Or $5, so $5 down and say, pick a horn high. I will often throw $5 in. It's like when I do a come out roll, when I'm throwing, I will have $25 on the horn high ace deuce. And so what I'll do is I'll throw $30 out there and say, hey, 25 for me, 5 for you. And so now they come with me on that horn high. And then the final way to do it, it is the most simplistic way, and the way I actually do not recommend that you do, is you wait until it's time to color up. So you wait until the very end, you cash in your money, and that's when you give them a tip. To me, this is where they're making the least amount of money, and it's the least beneficial for you, because they don't realize during the course of play that you're going to tip them money at the end. They don't know that you're going to do anything. But this is when I see people give the least amount of money. And what invariably happens is, someone will throw out, I'm just going to pick a stack of chips here. So they put out a stack of chips and they say, hey, color me up. And the dealers go through and they're like, okay, well, let's see how much you have. That dollar doesn't do anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so then they color you up, like that. So you got what? That's $150. And so they give you a black and 2 green along with that $6. And here's what people do. They take that $6. They've been playing for 2 hours. They have 4 people working the table. They got the stick person. They got the 2 dealers. They got the box man. And they throw the $6 in and say, hey, keep the $6. Really? And they're keeping the $150. The worst, though, is whenever somebody colors up and they get $2,000 and they tip the $6. That's cheap. If you've been betting for them the entire time, giving them the $6, no problem. But if you haven't been betting for them and that's going to be your big tip is at the end, come on, tip them. They're not getting paid great money. And understand, a lot of times they share with everybody else. It's not just that one particular table. It's not that little group. They have to share with the other people during the day or the other tables that are working. It all goes together. So be nice when you tip. So there we go. There's some suggestions on how to tip the dealers. Make sure that you're tipping them. I really like getting them involved in the play, which means I really like the place bets a lot. That's my favorite way to do it. But hey, you pick what works for you and do it. But as long as you tip them, take care of them. All right? That's all I got. Steve. Craps for everyone. Adios.